everyone, my name is Linda and I am an academic advisor at RCBC, and I'm here to show you how to make Zuppa Toscana. It is the Italian Tuscan soup copycat version of what you would find at Olive Garden, and I actually came across this recipe when I was taking a cooking class in California. It's pretty simple. Here are the ingredients. We have some potatoes, we have some onions, 3 cloves of garlic. I have here some kale that I got from Produce Junction, whipping cream that I picked up from Aldi's, and then if you look over here, I have some sausages that I purchased, and you only need about 4 links, so I have 3 links that have been taken out of its casing, and I have 1 to show you. You can actually get these at Sprouts or prepackaged at a supermarket. I have some chopped onions, some chopped up kale, I have some cubed potatoes, and then of course some bacon. So I've actually started with heating up the skillet. You see that I have some chopped up garlic there as well. Here I actually have some chicken broth that I was able to get from boiling up some chicken that we had earlier in the week. And then this is actually, oh, I don't have it with me here, but I can show it to you in a photo form. I actually use something called Better Than Bouillon chicken base, and so this is 2 cups worth. It's because I was missing the 2 cups that was needed to make it a total of 8 cups. So this is getting pretty hot. I am going to turn down the heat. And the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to cook some of the sausage. This is actually Italian hot sausage. It's going to go inside here. I'm going to leave this on this plate. And then you just cook it. Break it apart. It's pretty sticky, so. But I typically like to use either sweet Italian or hot Italian sausage. If you just want to add your own spice to it, you can get the sweet Italian and put in your own amount of crushed red peppers. But I find that with the hot Italian sausage, it gives me just enough kick without having to continue adding any more of the hot pepper flakes. But if you wanted to add a hot pepper flakes to it, you can. I'm just going to break this up. Usually I get my sausages from Sprouts. That's a supermarket that's out, I think, in Marlton or is it Mount Laurel or Marlton?
Marlton.
Right across the street from Trader Joe's. If you get just 2 of their sausage links, that should be enough for you because their sausages are huge. Otherwise, like I said, you can get them prepackaged from the store. So this is almost there. I still have some breaking up to do here. Now for my kale, I have found that the cheapest place to get kale is Produce Junction. I think you get 3 bunches for either $2 or $3. And what I tend to do is I'll use one of the bunches for the first iteration of when I have the soup. And then what happens with kale is once you put it inside the soup, it wilts. So when you want to serve it up the next day, it's like this really old greenish color. And so if you want to retain that fresh grain, just keep some kale on hand and add it as needed whenever you are ready to heat up your soup. One of the reasons why I like to make this soup is that it lasts us, and it's just Eric and myself, I would say about 3 days, right? Yep. So this is almost done. For my bacon, you can choose whichever bacon that you like. But we have typically bought our pork from a place called Brinkhurst out in Berlin, and this year we actually ordered half of a pig. So the bacon that you see here is actually from our half of a pig that we had ordered from Brinkhurst. This is done. I am going to transfer this in here, into this pot, and set aside it for now. We're going to add it later, and I am going to put this aside up here. And then I'm going to take this pot. This is where we start with cooking the bacon. So I'm going to bring my light back up. You can just put a little bit of canola oil or vegetable oil in there. Even though there's already fat in the bacon, I just don't want it to stick too much. Although if it does stick, it does create a good char that would add a nice taste to your stew. So I'm going to add in some bacon. Cook it a little bit. Can you come closer for the bacon? Again, this is from our pig from Bringers. It's really good bacon. I use, it's depending on how big the bacon sizes are, I use 4 to 6 slices, and that should be enough. So we're just going to let this cook, get some fat in there. And I find that if I add a little bit of bacon fat to this soup, it gives us that extra meat type flavor. It's like umami. Is it called umami?
Umami
type taste. So it's almost done. So this recipe should be posted up for you to see what the steps are in this process. This is almost done. Once it's done, we're gonna let it char a little bit more. Are you looking in to see what it looks like? Okay, looks just about done. All right, so I am going to transfer this over into this pot. I'll try to get most, but you don't have to get all of it, only because it's going to end up there anyway, but I'm just going to put this in. Okay. Alright, so this is up to you. For those who are health conscious, you don't have to do this, but I actually like to put a little bit of the bacon fat back for when I saute the onions with the garlic. We're going to do this for about 2 minutes or so until the onions get soft. Now a really good trick that I found, let me just make sure that this is on high, is if you're like me and you find that prep work takes a long time, if you were to cut up your onions and put them in a pot or in a bowl and have it be soaking in ice cold water, it lasts you for, I would say, at least a day and a half. So I did that with my onions, and I did that with the potatoes that I cubed. Otherwise, if you try to prep beforehand with cubed potatoes, and you don't put it in cold water to soak, if you're not going to immediately cook the potatoes at that point in time, it's going to get like this weird brown bruise type color. And you see, it's still quite crisp. So that has been in the fridge for at least a day. So this is cooking. Let me see. Yeah, I'm just going to wait a little bit. Let it boil. Then once it softens up, I'm just going to move this up here. We are going to add the chicken stock in. I think I have a lot of onions in there, so it's taking a while to do it. So I really like soups, and the reason why I like soups is because it tastes even better the next day. This is a to-go soup that I do at least, I want to say, once a month, because not only does it taste good, but it holds well the next day and even a couple days after that. So here we have the onions. It's just about soft now. And then I am going to add my chicken stock. Like I said, this is from stock that I had made earlier from a fryer that we had. So you'll see some of the natural stuff that came from that. And then I also have the stock. Ouch, my hand hit that thing. That I had made from the chicken bouillon. Or it's not chicken bouillon, but it's the better than bouillon chicken base right here. So you can find this at Target, you can find it at Walmart, Costco even has this on the shelves. It's really neat because I think it tastes a lot better than the cubes that you would typically find at a supermarket. So we're gonna let that boil. Once it boils, we're gonna add the potatoes, and then once the potatoes get soft, that's when we're gonna go in and add the rest of the meats, and then at the very end, the kale. In between that, we're gonna add the heavy cream. And with heavy cream, if you don't have heavy cream on hand, you can actually do a mix of milk and butter, and I will give you the recipe for that when they post the recipe for this soup in general. So we're gonna wait for this to boil. Okay, so the water has come to a boil, and at that point you wanna start adding your potatoes. You have to be very careful so that the water doesn't splash. I'm not sure I'm gonna do this, but we'll do one by one. Or maybe I can just pour everything in. Let me try that. No, I don't want it to accidentally splash and then burn the camera person. Usually I would just pour it in, but I do have a helper with me, my husband Eric, and so I do not want to cause any casualties with this cooking session. Okay, let me see. Nope.
Hey, pour it in.
You think I can just pour it in?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me just pour it in then. Okay, so I think because there wasn't so much left over, it didn't splash too much. All right, so you're gonna wait for this to boil a little bit. And you are gonna want to have it so that the potatoes, once you are able to put it to the side and crush it, that means everything else is ready to go in. The sausages, the bacon that we had cooked earlier, and then the pieces of kale. All right, so our potatoes have been boiling for about 20 to 30 minutes. And I am going to show you how you can determine when it's done. So I'm going to use my ladle here, and if I'm able to crush it like this, you see the potato? It's crushed against the wall of the pot. That means it is done. And so at that point, I am going to pour in the heavy cream. We have a half a cup of that. And then just let it warm up for maybe about 1 minute or so. It's getting that creamy look to it. And then that's when you start adding the sausages, the bacon that was pre-cooked. I transferred it into a smaller bowl, and I actually kept the fat here just in case I wanted to add some later for taste. Usually I don't find that I need to, but if I want that extra bacon taste, I do add maybe a small half a teaspoon of bacon fat. But if it's not necessary, Or if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. So it looks like our cream has warmed up. I'm going to pour in the sausages. Okay. I'm also going to pour in, just stir this a little bit. Mine has this orange tint to it because I used hot Italian sausage. If you use sweet Italian, it won't have that tint, but I use hot Italian because we like things spicy. Let me just get the last of this bacon. See if I can just knock it in there. Doesn't all want to come in. It's okay, I can add it later. So we're going to stir that up. And just incorporate it into the soup. And then lastly, we have the kale. So with the kale, you'll find that it will wilt pretty quickly depending upon how hot your bowl is or how hot your pot is. So I'm just going to incorporate in here. You see, oh, it looks delicious. It smells delicious too with all that bacon. I'm going to add a little bit more. This is an entire bunch of kale. Like I said, I have found that the best place to get kale is from Produce Junction. You get 3 batches for, I believe, either $2 or $3, and it will last you for this entire soup for a couple of days. And what I do, as I shared before, is that I like to overdo it on the kale because I like to feel like I'm eating healthy. So I like to put about a batch each time depending upon how often I'm serving it. But I reserve the batches that I have here for the next time that I heat it up. So this is your Zuppa Toscana. Let me just taste it. I haven't added any salt or pepper to this because I want to first have the bacon and the sausages, including the chicken broth, help to flavor the soup first before I add any other seasoning. So I'm going to taste it. Okay, it's not needing too much salt, but I'm going to add some salt. Just pour some in there. Okay. And then just stir it. And there you have it, your Zuppa Toscana. Now, just a couple pointers that I had mentioned previously. I am going to turn this off now. I used my own chicken broth that I had rendered when I was cooking a whole chicken the other day. But like I said, this is my go-to if I don't have that on hand. It's just better than bouillon, chicken base, with the onions and with the potatoes. Depending upon how big your onions and potatoes are, if it's something about this size, I would typically just put 3 of those size potatoes. And as I shared before, if you wanted to do some prep work beforehand, cube the potatoes, soak it in cold water. You can even put it in the fridge, and that will keep the potatoes fresh, as well as the onions once you chop them. Now, what happens with the onions when you do soak them is that it does cut out that onion taste. And so if you want a really strong or a stronger onion taste to your soup, then you wouldn't want to soak it. But I soaked it because I'm very much about prep beforehand, and it just saved me some time. And so there you go. This is our Zuppa Toscana, and I hope you enjoy. So this is my sign off. If you had an opportunity to try out this recipe, let me know how it worked out and whether you enjoyed it. I know it's something that our family has enjoyed multiple times over, and I hope to meet you during a remote advising appointment. Until then, I hope that you all stay safe and stay well. And until next time, see you later. Bye.